えらいことしてくれやんけ。地元のヤクザがな、手引けちょってこのわしを脅しに来たやろ。あいこれ。お前、極道に喧嘩させるんか？あ？
Now, if Tales of a Golden Geisha was Itami's slow-burning drama, then MINBO is his stick of dynamite. On paper, it's about an upscale Tokyo hotel that hires a lawyer to chase the Yakuza off their property before an international conference. In practice, it's the movie that got Juzo Itami in some serious trouble. It's an unflinching, satirical portrayal of organized crime that enraged the Yakuza so much that it led to a retaliatory attack on Itami himself, and some have even speculated that it played a role in his untimely death, but we'll get to that later. Watching this film today, it still feels a little dangerous, like I'm crossing some invisible line just by pressing play. And yet, despite that danger, the film crackles with humor and vitality. Itami just can't help himself. There's this hotel chase sequence with a collapsing wedding cake and little visual gags sprinkled throughout. These flourishes keep the film from collapsing under the weight of its very real menace. What's more striking, though, is its moral clarity. Like Tampopo and the Taxing Woman films, MINBO zeroes in on one very specific corner of society, hospitality in this case, and frames it as a frontline in the larger war of right versus wrong. Itami was the poet laureate of process, obsessed with showing how communities rally together against corruption or grief, whether it's a ramen shop, a family maneuvering through funeral proceedings, auditors seeking fraudulent taxpayers, or an entire hotel staff linking arms to face down some gangsters. The final image of defiance in this film could have tipped into parody, but instead, it feels like the purest distillation of Itami's worldview. If we stand together, we can win this. And Miyamoto, as always, is the linchpin. She drifts through these films like a recurring folk hero, always a little different, always ready to tilt the scales of justice, always magnetic, and always with a different hairstyle. If we look at Wes Anderson and see him as building this candy-colored dollhouse universe, then Itami's cinema feels like a parallel world of its own, a series of playful parables about society, decency, and collective responsibility, where we're constantly reminded that we live in a world built on fragile rules, and we need each other to keep them from collapsing. And just to reiterate, this film led to an attack on Itami's life. There's an interview with the New York Times that I'll link below where he discusses the attack and what it means, what it represents for him, a reinforcing of the sense that the Japanese ought to do better at standing up for themselves as individuals. He said, "The fact that I was attacked proves that what I pointed out in my film was correct. If I was wrong, they wouldn't have reacted so strongly." Later in that same interview, he discusses his next film after MINBO, which is